Hello, hello. um, so I'm here with another pick a card or like pick a stone, whatever, reading. Today's topic is a love read. I don't usually do love reads. They're not typically my cup of tea. Because a lot of times you do them and people aren't really receptive to the messages anyway. And they just kind of do what they want and not really take the advice. But I'm doing like what do you need to know regarding love or what's happening in love, whatever, just love read. Yeah, and the purpose is to tell you what is most important, what you need to know. Not to tell you what you want to hear or anything like that. So just like as a heads up for you. And then no, that's it. I have 3 piles here as per usual. Pile 1, Rose Quartz. Pile 2, Prehnite. Pile 3, Malachite. Okay. These are all stones. Well, these 2. I love these stones. I'm a big heart chakra stone person. Okay. I'm a fan. All of my favorite stones are heart chakra stones. Anyway, I will insert an overhead image of the piles so that you can like take some time, maybe pause the video and decide which one's for you, or like trust your intuition, pick which one's for you. And in these readings, remember, they are general readings, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Yeah, all right. Pile 1, you selected this Rose Quartz. I just got this piece, actually. It's from Madagascar, and I just think it's so beautiful. When I was probably like a month ago, I was sitting with my stones and I was like just holding all of them and feeling what they feel like. And for me, Rose Quartz feels like my heart is being forced open from the inside. Like it feels like it's expanding, you know? It feels like a reverse hug, if that makes sense. Reverse hug Rose Quartz. But it's a really great heart chakra opener, and it's also really good for like self-love, self-care, taking care of you. But generally, it just helps the energies of your heart flow a lot smoother and helps make room for things, you know. So let's get started. I'm gonna start with, this is the Salvador Dali Deluxe Tarot, Gilded Edition, Limited Edition, and it does, Dali did all the art, so. Oops. 3 of Pentacles. Okay, that's a lot of cards. I'm not taking all of them. That's too many. The Sun. Seven of Wands. Death. And I will get one more. This is interesting. Ooh. And 10 of Swords. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the Tower. Under that is the Chariot and Judgment. Okay. So I'm gonna set this over here. Just make some room. Make a little room, you know. Quartz does. Okay, so to me, it feels like you've done a lot of learning, okay? I think it feels like it kind of feels like something was being built here, like you were working with someone. Um, and like, granted, this Three of Pentacles is someone on their own, but behind them there is this like village. And so I think that you were working with someone, but I think I think it seemed to be going well. I think that on the outside, there seemed to have been like progress being made, but it feels like that came to a sudden end, you know. But I think the thing is even though there was this like teamwork happening in some way, again in this Three of Pentacles, this person is alone, and also in the Sun, this person is alone. Like there's little angels in the background, but this person is alone, you know. And so to me, it kind of feels like you were working towards something, but I feel like um, part of why this came to an end, or part of why this needs to be like, not this needs to be, but that part of why this was like shut down was because you were still like kind of in a bit of an avoidant energy of not really opening up to intimacy and not really allowing yourself to be seen, or not really like working with someone in theory, but not really, because you're not showing up as your true authentic self, not showing up authentically and honestly. And I think that's why this person was alone here. And even though things seemed good, I think that was just on the surface, um and so I think what happened was um maybe this person or like someone asserted themselves or like asserted boundaries, and they were just like, this is basically, they can't work with it, if you are working with someone, then you're working with someone. You can't, okay, this isn't saying you can't be independent, because I think it's really important to be independent in yourself and find happiness on your own and be like interdependent, not codependent, you know what I mean? But you can still be independent while working with someone else, you have to communicate, you have to like be present, you have to be your authentic self, and you're not being your authentic self if you don't even show up like as your, if you like push them away, or if you try to do everything on your own, you know what I mean? Or if you like try to build something but like don't communicate with the person that you're dealing with what you're building. And so I think that this had to come to an end, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel here. Don't get discouraged, okay? Don't get discouraged. Remember, your pile is Rose Quartz. Keep an open heart. So we have Death, Ten of Swords, the Tower. You can't get more done than that, okay? But with both Death and the Tower, they're always followed with something else. With Death, someone dies, but there's like, not in this card in particular, but in the traditional Rider-Waite, there's like a dead old man on the ground, but then there's a baby. There's a dead old man on the ground, and there's like the guy riding it, like the Grim Reaper riding in, but guess what? There's the sun rising in the background, And so like, even here, there's a skull, and there's this rose and this flower and this tree, there's all these things that are still living. And so even though this like had to come to an end, and in this card it's associating death with Saturn, which is really interesting. I haven't seen that often. And also the sun with Gemini, which is another interesting one. Anyway, this came to, the reason that this happened was because there was something for you to learn here in the way that you think, in the way that you express yourself, in the way that you deal with relationships. There is a difference between independence and complete avoidance, And like I was saying, like with death, something ends, something new begins. With the tower is always followed by the star. Okay, and the reason the tower happens is because something was not working. Before the tower, it goes like this: the devil, where two people are chained in circumstances that seem inevitable, that seem like they're stuck, and then the tower happens, and these people are like blasted out of the tower. They're freed. It's freedom essentially. And like you're falling and you're falling and you don't know where you're going, you don't know what's happening. I think that's part of what's happening here is you're like, I don't know what's next, I don't know where I'm going. But the thing is, you have to maintain faith, because part of the act of the tower is that it brings you closer to your true self. With the star, it brings you closer to healing. And so if there was a boundary set, or if there was like something that ended, keep in mind that this happened because there's something for you to learn here. Maybe there's something you need to let go of. Maybe there are some like ways of thinking that are no longer serving you that you need to release. Maybe you need to understand that you can have independence while still having intimacy and closeness. You can have both of those things at the same time. Being intimate does not mean being enmeshed. You can be your own person. And with the Chariot here under the tower and Judgment under that, I think that one, this was a decision that needed to happen. Whoever made this decision did it because it was necessary. Maybe this avoidant behavior was like hurting them in some way. And so they made this decision in order to protect themselves, in order to like bring life back to themselves, essentially. But there is hope again, because after the tower is always the star, and the star is all about hope and healing. And so maybe take this time to do some reflection and do some healing within yourself, and to figure out why this happened in the first place, or like if you don't like the way things turned out, then just sit on it, reflect on it, meditate on it for a bit. Are you avoidant because you have a hard time with establishing your own boundaries and maintaining your own boundaries? And like, you don't have to fear intimacy if you are able to, I'm moving these back because I'm about to pull more cards. You don't have to fear intimacy if you are able to create and maintain your own personal boundaries, because you then prevent yourself from getting hurt. If someone is doing something that doesn't like, and also the thing is you are responsible for your own feelings, and I think that whoever you were dealing with was trying to take responsibility for their own feelings. Like, it's not your job to fix how they feel, but it is their job to ensure that they are emotionally sound and stable and secure. Don't mind me, I'm drinking a beer. Anyway, I'm going to pull some cards from the Aleister Crowley Thoth deck, Thoth Tarot. I love this deck, it's very no nonsense. Oh, and before I keep going, with both Saturn and Gemini here, and then the Ten of Swords, also the Ten of Swords is a card of endings, but like it is the 10, right? So after the 10, you go back to 1. So I think after this, there will be a new beginning. There can be a new beginning. But it just really depends on what you choose to do, because you have to stand in your own personal power. Okay? And I get the feeling with Death, the Ten of Swords, and the Tower, and the Seven of Wands, with all of these cards, that whoever did this, or like ended this, or like set this boundary in place, meant it. This isn't someone who's like, yeah, I'm setting this bound, and then they don't actually stick by it. This is someone who actually will be maintaining it. Okay? And so if you want to change the way that you interact with them, it's up to you to change the way that you interact and change the way that you show up, I guess. You know. Because okay, I saw this recently. Boundaries exist. Someone setting a boundary is their attempt at continuing a relationship with you, whether that be platonic, romantic, familial, whatever. Someone setting a boundary is an attempt to keep things going, you know? Because the thing is like they could cut you off if they wanted to, but they're not doing that because they want you in their life, you know? And so setting a boundary is just a way to make sure that your connection is able to be continued and maintained without them experiencing harm or without you having to change things, really, you know? Because the thing, like, I feel like setting a boundary is also kind of like your way of like, just kind of accepting, like, okay, this is how it is, this is how you are, that's okay. But in order to interact with you in a way that is safe for me, this is what I have to change for myself, you know? Knight of Wands. Queen of Wands. Adjustment, which is justice. Eight of Pentacles. Seven of Cups. And on the bottom of the deck is the Three of Pentacles again. Okay, so what's under that? And under Three of Pentacles is the King of, the Prince of Wands, which is the king in this deck. Okay, so the thing is, I think that you were, let me put my hair back. It's like really getting in the way. I think that the way that you were showing up was very like intermittent, very like coming in quick, leaving fast. You know, the Knight of Wands is very passionate. The Knight of Wands is someone who is very excited. They're very like, they go after what they want, but the Knight of Wands is not sustained. The Knight of Wands is not consistent. The Knight of Wands is not reliable. You know, and I think this is how you were showing up. And I think and listen, I have compassion. I don't think you were showing up like this because you like don't care, but I think you were showing up like this because it's what feels safe. You know, you may have had issues in the past with other relationships where like your independence wasn't like respected and your like sense of self wasn't respected, and so what feels safe to you is coming in quick and then leaving, you know? Like, I don't want to get too close because if I get too close, then I'm like not sabotaging, then I'm what's the word I'm looking for? Basically it feels like you're like sabotaging your sense of independence, or like because I feel like in these situations maybe you were with maybe this connection was like kind of triggering you in some way, because I feel like what happens is maybe people have treated you like you owe them something, or like you're obligated to them in some way, or like, because I know a lot of people have these relationships where someone will give, and you know, and they're like giving all these things that the other person never asked for, you know, and then the other person like, and then that person guilt trips them, you know, and it's like, I do this for you, why don't you do it for me? But it's only because that initial person who was constantly giving had a lack of boundaries for themselves, you know. And so because of that, I feel like this that is why you show up this way. Maybe you've had relationships like that, you know, where like they would overgive and like overextend themselves, and they expected you to do the same, and then you did, or maybe you didn't, and it just ended up being really toxic and unhealthy for you. And so now you show up in this way that isn't very secure or stable or consistent, you know. And again, I understand it, I get it, I have empathy, because it is what it is. That's how you cope, that's how you deal with it. You deal with it by keeping everything to yourself. But that's not how you build healthy relationships, you know. Expressing your feelings and showing who you are, and like showing up as yourself, and like allowing yourself to interact with people, that is how you build relationships. You know, that's how you get closer to people. You get closer to people by talking about your feelings, by talking about how you are, where you are. You know, I also feel like maybe this avoidance is because you have a hard time saying no. Ask yourself why. Because I think you view this person with the Queen of Wands, this person brings you a lot of happiness. I can see with it being on the sun, brings you a lot of happiness, and you view this connection as something that could have been really successful, but I think it gives you a lot of anxiety, which is why you were very in and out, because I think it felt too familiar, you know. And I'm not saying that the other person isn't guilty in some way, or that they haven't like done things, but this isn't about them. This is about you. This reading is about you. You know. And with justice being here as adjustment, I think that the boundary that was set, it was done to bring balance to them, to bring balance to their own energy, you know. Maybe they have some Libra placements, because justice is Libra, you know. It was done to bring balance. It was done so that they can work on other things, so that their mind isn't to bring clearance to their mind, you know. Because by coming in and out so often, it can really, especially if it's someone who is dealing with like attachment issues, or someone who is working on becoming more secure, it can like, who's working from being like anxious to go into secure, it can really cause a lot of clutter in the mind, because then it's like, what's happening? And even in someone who generally is secure, it can still be like, what's happening? You know, like, you come in this way and then you leave suddenly. Why? And not really being clear about anything, not really knowing what's happening. Like, it's really confusing, and it really does muddle up one's way of thinking. And by setting this boundary, I think it really was able to help them find balance within themselves, because one, now they are able to trust themselves more in connections, you know. And so there's less anxiety, because a lot of times anxiety comes from like not being able to trust your surroundings, not being able to trust yourself, you know. So now they feel like they can trust themselves, and they have a lot of mental clarity and mental room to put in effort and work towards other things that are like more pressing than your inconsistency. I'm not trying to be mean, I promise. Because again, I get it. And I think that this boundary set was their attempt at working with you, or at like working together and trying to make things more secure and stable in some way. And the way that they knew how to do it was by boundary setting. I wonder what's gonna happen next. Anyway, and so now they have they're I think one, they are working through clearing, with the Seven of Cups being on the Ten of Swords. I think they're working through clearing up a lot of trauma. Some of their own like traumas, and working on clearing up their own like issues, and like just trying to clear things up, you know, trying to make things less messy, trying to like find clarity. They're trying to get to that Ace of Swords, you know, trying to have that like, okay, I know what's happening, I know where I'm going. So just they're trying to clear the clutter in their life, okay? Oh, this is already at like 20 minutes. Anyway, I'm gonna get a couple cards because I want to know what happens next. Or like, oh no, yeah. So I need to get a different tarot deck. Okay, we're gonna do the Rider-Waite because that's what I have right here. Actually, I'm not gonna ask what happens next. I'm gonna ask for some advice for you, and then I'm gonna get some oracles. I also, before I keep going, I'm really focused on this Eight of Pentacles, and it's the Sun in Virgo. Okay, so I think that oh yeah. So anyway, I think that Virgo is a sign that tends to have this overgiving kind of aspect to themselves because they will give to everyone else and not really pay attention to what they need. And so then, because they're mutable earth, they're very acts of service, so they do so much for others and then they don't know when to stop, and then they like don't even know what they want or where they're going. And so I think that but the in the sidereal zodiac, the very end of Virgo is 29 degrees, which is where the fixed star Spica is. Fixed star Spica is all about knowing when to cut the wheat from the chaff, knowing when to stop, knowing when when you've given too much, or like when to stop before you've given too much. And so I think that part of this person doing this is because they need they're working on knowing when to stop giving to someone else and when to start giving to themselves. 5 of Wands. This is advice. 9 of Wands. Knight of Cups. 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of the Wheel of Fortune. Bottom of the deck is the High Priestess. I say, so what's next? Or like advice for you? 1, trust your intuition. That is the most important thing overall. Because I think what's really important for you is to work on breaking down your walls a little bit and figuring out why you're so afraid of that closeness and intimacy. Okay, work on that. That first and foremost, that is the most important thing. Okay, because if you want to show up to this person, you need to show up with integrity, and you need to show up being prepared to not run away. Okay, and to not push them away when things feel too close. Okay. And that's not saying you can't have boundaries. Have boundaries. That's important, okay? That's how you keep things going, But you can't show up with no amount of emotional openness, Because if you have no emotions, then who are you? You're just a shell. My cat's being really dramatic. He's like wants to leave, but he's laying next to the floor on his back like this, and he just looks like he's dying. He's acting like he's dying. Anyway, so yeah, work on figuring out why there's so much guardedness here, and keep him like with the 9 of Wands. This person does look very beat up. They've really been like through the ringer. They've carried everybody's stuff up to here. They've taken everything. They've dealt with everything but their own excitement and their own passion. And so 1, figure out what makes you happy, and like if this person makes you happy, figure out why, and why are you so afraid of being happy? And also understand that like you have made it to 1, the universe doesn't give you cards that you can't deal with, like you don't get dealt hands that you don't know how to work with. Okay. Even if it's difficult, like that's anyway, and so like this is something that you are, if you want to, if you would like to open up to this person and get closer and like have this intimate connection, understand that you have gotten like, because of, you've been through all these things in the past. Okay, you've been through all these things, you've learned your lessons, you've learned. Okay, so all you just apply those lessons to this connection here. Learn, like, set your, like, allow yourself to set boundaries, allow yourself to say no when something's too much. You know, if you need space, then just say, hey, I appreciate you reaching out to me, but I need some time alone. Or like say, hey, like I would like to hang out, but it's really important for me to work on this other thing, or like just something like that. Like be like at least be communicative, you know. And then when you show up, Knight of Cups. Okay, the Knight of Cups isn't fully emotionally mature. It just is what it is. And they come in with a lot of feeling, and they don't always stick around, you know, but this is a start. This is better than showing up as, especially when it comes to romantic connections and love, it's better to show up as the Knight of Cups than it is to show up as the Knight of Wands, period. Okay. And so show up showing this person the amount of care and like not openness, and like some type of like vulnerability, some type of emotional openness, you know, because before there were no cups here. Okay. And you can't have love with no emotion, with no emotional openness, with no emotional intimacy. And again, that doesn't mean enmeshment. That just means being open and sharing, you know. So show up with your heart open, because you never know. 10 of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune. This could turn out to be someone you stick with for a very long time. And that makes you really happy, and it could turn out to be something very stable, very secure. The Wheel of Fortune represents all of the fixed signs and Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, because it's Jupiter energy. Sagittarius, Pisces. You know, so this could be like very romantic, very long-term, something that like is secure but also expansive. You know, this could be a connection where you really, especially with the High Priestess on the bottom of the deck, where you learn a lot, you know, about each other, about yourself. Like you uncover a lot of secrets, and you learn a lot about like each other, and the world too. I think you'd learn so much about the world, and I think you'd be able to like lean on each other's shoulders a little bit. I think it'd be really nice. Okay, so I'm gonna get some of these and a heart card, and then that'll be it for your reading. This is kind of long, you know, but I hope you're enjoying it. Ooh, the way these, okay, I'm gonna just take them. Ooh. Relationships. I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. Blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being. Loneliness. I know that I am never alone. Bottom of the deck is friendship. I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. Maybe this is a connection that needs to start off as friendship. Okay? So that both of you can be more comfortable with being your true selves without worrying about pressure of like where this is going. Okay? I think relationships should be based on friendship anyway, because like at least if you're friends, then you know you genuinely like them as a person, and not just the idea of them or the way that they make you feel when you're around them, you know. And so understand that you're attracted to this person for a reason, and understand that the relationships in your life are there to help push you in some direction to make you a better version of you. And that doesn't always feel good, especially if it's like a bad relationship. But sometimes, and by relationship again, I mean like platonic, romantic, familial, any of them, you know, they're around you to help mold you. And so in this connection in particular, understand that it's happening the way it's happening for a reason, and I think also have some faith that things will work out the best way possible for both parties involved. Okay. And then blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being. This is what I was talking about. You need to, one, connect with your emotions and how you're feeling so that you're able to um, set those boundaries moving forward, so that you don't have to be as afraid of closeness. Being close doesn't mean you're going to be disrespected. And if you are being disrespected, then don't be friends with them. Or at least express that. And if they don't change, then don't be friends with them. Anyway, loneliness. I know that I am never alone. And so right now, if you're feeling really alone in the world, understand that there are other people dealing with the same thing that you're dealing with, and you're part of a collective, and also understand that, like, just because things seem to be like at an end here, I don't see them as being completely finished, and because I already explained why. And that if you want that connection, if you want to be close, it's up to you. You haven't been showing up with the integrity and with the consistency that this person needs. You are meeting a queen with a knight. You need to meet a queen with a king. Or with the equivalent. I don't know. You need to meet this person at their level. And so one, don't be afraid to reach out. Just make sure you show up with integrity and honesty and communication and authenticity. I'm gonna get a Heart Thoughts card for you as well. We have, I let my whole being vibrate with light. I know that the universal power is everywhere in every person, place, and thing. And then we have, I am on the next step to my healing. I listen to my body's messages and see myself as whole and healed. I am taking responsibility. I am aware there is something I can do to change. And then there's a last, I'm going to take one on the bottom of the deck. Everything I need comes to me in the right time/space sequence. I ask for help by telling life what I want and allowing it to happen. Okay? So, one, understand that everything is happening the way it's happening for a reason. Two, understand that you do have power. You have personal power. You can change things. You can take action. You are responsible for your feelings. You are responsible for what you want. You are responsible for your actions, okay? And so if someone setting boundaries with you triggered you, figure out why they set the boundary with you in the first place. Why did they need to do that? And two, listen to yourself. Figure out what within you is making closeness so triggering. Why is it so scary to you? Go within. Really go within. And also, again, have faith and have that hope that things will work out in the best way possible for everyone involved. Whether that means being with this person or not. Whether it means being alone, I don't know. However it works out, just have faith that things are going to work out the way they're meant to. And then also, like, if you want to be with them, then show up that way. And like, part of this showing up, it's not forcing anything. It's like, again, having that open heart, having that open mind, not taking everything as personally, and not like being defensive, and like, if someone is trying to, like, I don't know, just be open, see what could happen. You never know what could happen. That's it for your reading. I hope it resonated. It was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. Thank you for taking time to listen to me talk. Please leave a like or a comment if it resonated. Just let me know. Thank you. Hi, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. Took a little short break after pile 1, shuffled all my decks, and I'm ready. So you guys picked the Prehnite, which honestly is one of my like second favorite stone. I really love this stone. It's excellent for people who frequently give too much to others and forget about themselves. You know, it's a stone that reminds you, it's a stone of unconditional love, you know, and so it helps you with like directing that unconditional love to yourself first and then to others. But it reminds you when you need to like take a second, relax, chill out, breathe into yourself, give yourself the care that you need, okay? That's what this stone is all about. So, now with your reading, group 1 was like very long. I don't know how long yours is going to be. We'll see. So, get started. This is the Salvador Dali Deluxe Tarot. Page of Swords. That's too many. One card at a time, please. 3 of Swords. Ooh. I'll take 2. The High Priest. So that's the Hierophant. The Fool. And the Moon. Bottom of the deck we have 3 of Cups. All right. You know, let me get some more tarot on this. Some clarifiers because... Well, actually not. Let me sit with this for a second. Let me sit with it. Okay. I understand. Yeah. So, in love right now, you are coming out as the Page of Swords. So, very open mind, not the most experienced. Just trying to see what happens, you know? I think part of this is because you may have had your heart broken in the past. The way I shuffle so that no reversals came out. So there's a 3 of Swords upright, but it isn't feeling very like painful to me right now. And so I think you're trying to go into things with an open mind, with an open heart, trying to see what happens, trying to figure out if this like long-term thing is good for you, trying to see if like what kind of like relationship structure works for you, you know, like just trying to figure things out, you know. And with the 3 major arcana here, which is like 3 out of like 5 of the cards I pulled. Oh, they're upside down. Oops. Anyway, 3 out of 5 of the cards that I pulled. This is kind of a monumental journey for you. It's like a time for you to like explore, see what's out there. We have the moon. Time to go see what's on, what things wait for you. Like what awaits, what's coming. You know, you're probably dating around a little bit with the 3 of Cups on the bottom of the deck, trying to see what options you have, what's available to you, like what you could have, where things could go, you know, like keeping your mind and your options really open. The Hierophant is here, but it doesn't feel like commitment Hierophant. It feels like higher knowledge Hierophant. You know, so like you're figuring things out, you know, trying to figure out what you want, what feels good, etc. I'm going to pull some clarifying cards because that was real vague and I had a real clear message for pile 1, so we're going to I need more. What is going on? Pile 2. Can I get some clarification on this situation in love for pile 2, please? This is the Crowley Thoth deck. Four of Swords. Ace of Swords. Queen of Cups. The Emperor. Huh? Queen of Wands. Actually, I don't need to shuffle anymore. Bottom of the deck is the Six of Swords. Okay, so you're trying to move on from something. You probably, I'm not sure if you ended something or if someone else did. Either way, I think something happened. It was something regarding communication. It kind of hurt. I actually, I think you might have had to say something. And I think part of this was so that you can like work on healing with the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is a card of healing. It's healing from the Three of Swords, okay? And so I think you were working on healing from some type of like poorly communicated situation, or some type of like unbalanced situation. The Four of Swords is Jupiter and Libra. You know, working on trying to heal things from this, trying to find some peace of mind, because the Three of Swords is painful. And I'm looking at this Three of Swords, and there's like this woman, and she's tied up on this rock, and there's like a sea monster, and there's someone who comes to save her, but it's a lot. It's emotional distress. And so I think, I understand. So the Ace of Swords is like that spear going into the monster. So you can see it. Ace of Swords is like this spear here going right in there. Okay, so you communicated something to get yourself out of danger. So basically, you were like this here, tied up over here, stuck. And then you are also this angel here. You came in, saved yourself by communicating. Stabbed the sea monster before it could get you. So like before you could get really messed up, like you were in a little distress, but before you could get like real hurt, you took action in order to create, with the Queen of Cups on the Hierophant, in order to create more emotional stability for yourself. And bravo to you, pile 2. Good job. Taking responsibility for yourself. And so now, after that, like you're trying to heal from it and trying to like open your mind up a little bit, trying to like see what else is out there, you know, going into life with an open mind, going into dating with an open mind. But okay. And you're also, with the Emperor on the Fool, you are taking your life into your own hands. You are choosing to take leaps of faith. Like, granted, you're thinking about it, you're like putting a lot of thought into it, and like being careful and making sure that they're not like just like foolish and just like stupid acts, you know. But you're putting in this effort to go see what's out there and explore the unknown, and like let yourself get into this Queen of Wands energy of really enthusiastically just trying to see what happens, trying to see where life leads you, where your intuition leads you. Because ultimately, with the Queen of Cups and the Hierophant being in the center, I think ultimately what you do want is emotional security. You are someone who ultimately does want like a stable committed relationship, but at the moment I think you're trying to let yourself just like live life, you know, and kind of just experience things and see what's out there and see what you might like, what might not like, you know. I think you're trying to get out there and trying to get yourself really out of this like overthinking energy and into something more peaceful and more secure and more just like peace, like not peaceful, I already said peaceful, more peaceful and more secure for you. That's what's happening. You're trying to find this balance within. As above, so below. Peace within, you'll have peace around you, you know. Because everything's all perceptions anyway. That's what you're doing. And I see you in this is a very balanced energy. It's very like, we got the Emperor, we got the Hierophant, which are 2 like masculine energies. We got the Queen of Wands, Queen of Cups, the Moon, which are all like very feminine, receptive energies, you know. And so you're in this really, really balanced state. We have the 6 here, 6 of Swords over here, which again is very balanced. 6 is a good number of balance and like responsibility. You are taking responsibility, and that's amazing. Because you find that, again, like I said, with peace within, you'll have peace without. Same with balance. You find that balance within yourself and it'll follow you. And so you're doing a really good job. Shout out to you. You should congratulate yourself. Be happy. I don't know what happened, but I just think you had to assert yourself in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what. Whatever it was causing you a lot of stress and anxiety, and you took care of it. Whatever it was. I don't think I'm getting like a lot of detail on that because it's like, it could be different for everybody watching this, you know? And so now I'm going to get some cards on like what you can expect in this unknown world you're going into. I also think you kind of, before I shuffle, with the Queen of Wands on the Moon, I think you kind of like showed yourself, like I think you surprised yourself when you did this. I think it like caught you off, like you caught yourself off guard. Because I think you like, it like peeled back a layer and then it like revealed more of who you are. Because the Queen of Cups and Queen of Wands are very different. The Queen of Cups is very reserved, very to herself. She's very like, she protects her feelings. She doesn't do too much. Like, she's very nurturing and very caring. I'm not saying that the Queen of Wands isn't. The Queen of Wands, like, she isn't shy. She is very upfront. She shows up. She goes after what she wants. She's a master manifester. She has a lot of fire, a lot of drive. You know, she's passionate. And I think that that's interesting. In the shift in color too, went from all these blues to this red. You went from being so like in these very like heady, very high, very like overthinking energies into this very grounded, very rooted energy, and like focusing on your sense of self and how you feel and like making room for yourself. You made room for yourself. That's what you did. Now, what can you expect in this unknown period moving forward? Oh, that was rude. It'll be very transformative for you. Death just fell, and we have the roll on the bottom. So this will be a transformative time, this unknown. Six of Cups. The Emperor. Got the Emperor here twice. So you may have been dealing with a very like masculine figure, may have been dealing with someone who's kind of maybe authoritative, but someone who's very stubborn and Aries, you know. Six of Swords. Temperance. Bottom of the deck is the Eight of Cups, and under that is the High Priestess. Okay, so what you can expect in this unknown. Expect some ghosts of the past to show up. I'm not going to say ghosts. They might not be ghosts. Some things what you thought were done are not done, first of all. So expect some people to show up again. With the Six of Cups, I can think of that as a card as like of the past. But also expect to meet some people who are pretty strong candidates for what you're looking for with the Emperor. Yeah, expect to meet some people who are some pretty strong candidates, some people that you have deep emotional connections with, some people that you may have like past life connections with potentially, some people that really care about you and nourish you, you know. And also be prepared to experience a lot of healing too of your ways of thinking, of like letting your guard down a little bit, allowing yourself to move out of this like terrified, guarded position in your life, this like defensive, like letting yourself move out of that and taking the lessons that you've built up and letting that help you move forward so that you can heal and find balance, you know. I think you voiced this because things just weren't exactly what you wanted, and with they weren't quite right for you. And it's not saying that they were like terrible, but you just weren't happy with it. And so you voiced that, and the Eight of Cups can mean moving away from something that's good, you know? Yeah, it can be moving away from something that's good or bad or whatever, but it's moving towards the Nine of Cups. It's moving towards fulfillment, and I think that's what you're doing here. By making room for yourself, you make it so that the universe knows what you want to be fulfilled, you know? I've been saying this for the past several days, but closed mouths don't get fed. You know, and so by you standing up for yourself and speaking up and saying what you need to say, you made room for yourself, you know, and so it makes it easy so that you can move forward and like have connections in the future where you are fulfilled. And also the Nine of Cups is like self-fulfillment, you know. And so I think this helped teach you that you are in control of your, like, you are responsible for your own feelings, and therefore you're responsible for your own fulfillment. And if you want to be happy, you have to take the steps to make yourself happy. you know. Even if someone makes you happy in the moment, they're not always going to make you happy. So you have to have ways that you find that happiness for yourself. And for you, with the Queen of Cups, Queen of Wands, that's probably in some creative way. Expressing your feelings through creation in some way, shape, or form. A lot of you, I think, are writers. Maybe painters, but I think mainly writers. Speakers, you know. Find that fulfillment for you. And then through finding that self-fulfillment in the 9 of Cups, you will find yourself in the 10 of Cups. That happy ever after, that ending, that happiness with others, you know. Because you find that once you are whole and complete within you. Like I said to pile 1, you have to show up authentically and honestly, and you are on the path to doing that. Okay, so good job, kudos. So now I'm gonna pull some Soul's Journey cards for you. There's no advice, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep that open heart, keep that open mind, keep prioritizing yourself and taking care of you the way you need to. Judgment. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. Humor. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. Honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. Absolutely. Gratitude. I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. So understand, that's on the bottom of the deck. I'm not pulling it. That this person you're dealing with, like everybody has their own things that they're dealing with, and like maybe they were showing up in the way you didn't like, but it wasn't. Try not to take it personally, because it's probably because they were dealing with their own things, you know. And in life, you're gonna meet people who are dealing with their own things. Try not to judge them. And instead hold yourself accountable to being honest with with yourself and what's good for you. You know, don't judge, don't be mean. You don't have to do all that, you know. Just acknowledge you don't like how it makes you feel, then change what you're doing and be honest with yourself, you know. And instead try to focus on the good parts of those relationships and focus on how you can set boundaries and be real with yourself and the people around you in a way that allows these relationships to be the best version that they can be, you know. So again, this isn't about like, oh, you did this, that. Don't hold grudges. Don't judge. But be real with yourself and be real with the people around you. And also understand that everything that happens for a reason. So be grateful for even the difficulties that you face, because you face them and now you're able to, if something else like it happens, you're able to breeze through it. And like if a situation shows up that's a little too familiar, you're able to be like, you know, I see this happening and I'm going to act differently, you know. Because this is how we get ourselves out of cycles and out of patterns of behavior. We get faced with one situation and we behave one way, it doesn't work out well. We get faced with another situation that's the same or similar, we act differently, and then we get different results. And that's how we grow as people, you know. And just be grateful for what everything has taught you so far, because look at you, you're doing real good. Heart Thoughts cards. I am welcomed with joy wherever I am. People love working and being with me. As I express my thoughts, feelings, and ideas, they are welcomed and easily comprehended by others. There is a solution to every problem. There is an ever-ready power that helps me meet and overcome every challenge and crisis in my life. What did I just say? You're able to deal with anything that comes your way. I said this to pile 1. You would not be dealt a hand that you can't deal with. And I think that this first step of expressing yourself and being honest with this person or the situation, being honest with it, that will help you with feeling more comfortable with expressing yourself and being true with yourself and with others moving forward. And also by being honest and being real and standing up for yourself and just by speaking up the way you need to, that is you showing your true self. That is you showing what you need. That is you showing who you are. Okay? If you were to just sit and not say anything, then what are you? Nothing. Okay, you're not nothing, but you're mush. You know? You're shaping yourself to others. You don't need to shape yourself to others. Show up as you are, be honest, be real, and then people that are meant to fit with you will fit with you. You know? Give yourself some credit, group 2. Y'all been doing a good job taking care of yourself, taking care of business, being open, going into the unknown, you know? Trying to heal. You've been really trying to heal these emotional issues that you've been dealing with. Trying to make sure that your emotions are good, that your emotions are stable, and that is excellent work, okay? So that's all I have for you today, pile 2. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you liked it. I hope it resonated. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, whatever you feel like doing, no pressure. That's all. Thank you. Hi, pile 3. Oh, I forgot to bring your thing over here. Here you go. So you guys chose the malachite. This is a raw malachite. It's a velvet malachite. I love it. Okay, so malachite, it absorbs all toxicity. When I wear malachite, when I sit with malachite and feel it, like really feel it, it feels like my heart's being put in a juicer. Like everything in it is just being squeezed out. Everything that doesn't need to be there, squeezed out. Any emotions I've been dealing with, all right, time to deal with them. Malachite is really powerful for protection because of the way it absorbs toxicity. And it's also really good for initiating change because it makes you deal with all those feelings that you don't want to deal with or haven't dealt with. And from there, helps you with like changing habits, getting out of old patterns and things. And it's because it's from the heart, it really sticks with you, you know. Malachite's amazing. Don't eat it because it has high levels of copper in it, and that can be toxic. So don't eat your malachite. That's all. Time for your reading. This is the Salvador Dali Deluxe Tarot. Oh, why did I do that? That's funny. Okay. Anyway, time to pull your cards. I just put the deck back. We're not doing that. We are reading. Also, I'm actually wearing This is azurite with malachite. Little green specks are malachite. And my earrings are malachite. Oh my god. A bunch of them fell, but only one fell upright, so I'll take that one. Strength. 4 of Cups. Ace of Wands. The Magician. And the 4 of Wands. Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have the 6 of Swords. Okay, so pile 3. I think you've been kind of disillusioned by things for a while, a little bored with love and what's been shown to you. You know, I think you've really had it, it feels like, with Strength and the 4 of Cups. I think you just kind of doesn't really feel like anything's been happening, been kind of bored, like just kind of on your own, trying to figure your stuff out. I think you've kind of like balanced things out, and I think you've just been kind of dissatisfied with all the options that have presented themselves to you so far. Like, none of them have been good enough for you, pile 3. But I see that changing. Ace of Wands, the Magician, the 4 of Wands. Something is going to happen very quickly. Very suddenly. There's about to be this like renewal, I think. Ace of Wands, the Magician. There will be some action taken. I don't know if you are doing something or if someone else is doing something. Regardless, there is this effort to manifest and to bring in this like balanced, stable connection, and to move out of, with the 6 of Swords, and to move out of any like turbulent waters that you've been in. Maybe one of these options here that you've been not into because they haven't been giving you what you need or what you want. Maybe it's one of those 3 or 4 cups, you know. Well, these 3 cups are ones that are not being looked at, and this 4th cup is one you don't see because you're so disappointed by the 3 cups. So this might be a new one. I think it's a new option, probably, for most of you. For some of you, I say about 60% of you, it's a new option. 40%, it's someone else that you already know, or an option that you already are aware of. But if it is someone you're already aware of, they're stepping up to the plate, you know, and showing up more stable, more secure, more passionate, more open. Because the Magician has cups, has a cup, it has a wand, has a sword, has a pentacle. So the Magician has everything, okay? Has all the things. And so I think this person is showing up very well-rounded, very balanced, very prepared to make things happen, because what they want ultimately is stability. What you want ultimately is also stability. We have 4 here twice. We also have a 6. 6 is about like unconditional love and not consistency. Like, it's a very domestic number. It's like very parental. I'm not saying that this person is parental, but it's you know, it's about finding that stability, making those rules, etc. Like groundwork. So it's a card of responsibility too. It is a number of responsibility. And so I think that this person is coming in taking responsibility for themselves, taking responsibility for where they want things to go. They want it, so they're going to do the things they need to do to get it. The Magician is an action taker. You know, they do what they need to do. Because you've been here, sitting here in your own strength, sitting here in your own power, working on yourself, growing, trying to see where you want to go. And like, I don't see, in this case, I'm not really seeing strength as you like soothing some aspect of yourself. I kind of see it as you becoming a more full and complete version of yourself. Like the lion is one part of you and the angel is another part, and they're like working together, and you're like becoming this angel lion hybrid situation. You know what I mean? And so you're like, you've become this really full, balanced, complete version of you. So you're comfortable with turning away things that do not meet that and that do not serve you and that aren't up to your standards. You know, that just is what it is, and that's okay. Don't let anybody shame you for turning down options. Turn them down if they aren't what you if they aren't what you need, then say no. Don't accept what isn't up to you, what isn't up to your level. Don't do that. So, tell me more about Mr. Magician here, or Miss Magician, whoever. Mixed magician, they, them, magician. That's not how that goes. I'm a they, them. I can joke about they, them. I use they, them. Maybe you're a they, them. Are you a they, them? 9 of Pentacles. 3 of Swords. 8 of Wands. 10 of Pentacles. Okay, I'll take both of these. And then we have the Page of Cups and 3 of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the 4 of Pentacles, and under that is the 9 of Cups. So we have 9 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles. Okay. So this person is coming in because, one, you stood in your power. You maintained your independence and your sense of self, and you did what you needed to do for you, whatever that was. And you've, I don't know, haven't given in to things that aren't good enough for you, you know? And I think that they find this really admirable. I think it's something that they look up to. And even though this is, the 3 of Swords is Saturn in Libra. Saturn actually exalts in Libra, so it's actually it's a good placement, because it's all about like finding that balance there. So with this is a piece of clear quartz, by the way. I don't know, I just feel like it's helping me get through this last read. So anyway, I think they recognize that the reason that you weren't accepting it is because it wasn't good enough, it wasn't up to your standard, you know. And even though it hurt them, 3 of Swords, to hear that, and it hurt, I say to hear because it is swords, and swords about communication, and so it hurt them. It may have hurt their ego a little bit, but it's because things are out of balance, and you did what you had to do. And I think they recognize that, and they see it's fair, you know. That's fair. Like, all right, you have a point. And so that, I think, has triggered an awakening in them. It has made them want to come in with the swiftness and with the consistency. We got the 10 of Pentacles on the Magician. And next to the Magician was the 4 of Wands. So this is someone who is, they're like, you turned me away. I wasn't good enough. But I see now that you have respect for yourself, that you have boundaries. You have passed, I feel like this may have been like they may have like overlooked this and like not felt like it was worth the effort. And I think part of why they didn't feel like it was worth the effort is because they didn't see yet the high esteem in which you held yourself by setting boundaries or by not just accepting anything. You don't just accept anything, you know? And I think that is what brings them in. This is a very fiery person. Could be a Leo. Could have Mercury in Sagittarius. No, I mainly get like fire here. There are cups though. There could be some cups too, you know. But anyway, or you could be a Leo. We also have Virgo. We have Gemini, because the Magician is Mercury, so that's Virgo and Gemini. We have some cups, so water signs, any sign really. Capricorn. But I get a lot of fire. I didn't point out signs for the other groups. Don't tell them. Anyway. So now they're ready to come through with the swiftness, with the quickness, to let you know what they want. To let you know that what they want is consistency, long-term, something that has been built up, something that is well balanced. They want family. This is, let me cater to you, let me take care of you, let's build together. That's what this is. That's what they want. And they didn't realize they wanted it until you set boundaries and maintained space and made space for yourself and didn't just accept any old offer that came your way. You know, you wanted more. And so you asked for more. You didn't ask for more, you just didn't accept what wasn't good enough. You know, and it just be like that sometimes. And so we got the Page of Cups and the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups, I view, like, it's in this deck, it's written as abundance. I view the Three of Cups as like bringing all your cups together to work together, you know, to share the abundance, to share the emotions, to share the happiness. It's about sharing, you know. When I think that they've decided that they want to share, I feel, okay, so like they may not have the most emotional depth right now. I think that it's something that they're working on. They want to have more emotional depth. They want to open up to you more, but it's little baby steps. They're working on it, you know. And so I don't know if you're going to be happy with that or not, but they're trying to come to you with some kind of emotional communication. The Three of Cups is Mercury in Cancer. So they're trying to share what maybe some of what they've been going through. They're trying to initiate some level of like emotional intimacy with you, I think, to show you that they can be stable, that they can be consistent, and that they do really want this long-term situation with you, you know. They want to see where things can go. They want to see what you can build together. I think both of you are guarded. We have the Four of Discs here on the bottom of the deck. You're both guarded, and I think you both need to know that it's safe and that it's secure to open up before you do it. And I think, one, you setting boundaries and not accepting what isn't good enough showed them that you are able to set your own boundaries. So that, okay, one, and by you doing that, you feel safe, and by you doing that, they feel safe. Okay? And that makes it feel more comfortable for them to open up, for them to show up, and for them to communicate and just be open with themselves, even if it's just a little bit, you know? Because as I said in group 1, setting boundaries with someone is an effort to continue your relationship with them, you know? And so by you setting this boundary, it shows you accepting them as they are. So like not like expecting them to change, but it also shows you taking responsibility for yourself and understanding that you won't accept less than what you're worth, you know. And so it's good on all sides, you know. And I think that this is someone who's worth hearing out, because this is what they want, and I feel that they're well-rounded. If they're not coming in on some like, it might be a little inconsistent at first. I say at first because the Ace of Wands, Eight of Wands are both very quick energies. So it might come in a little inconsistent at first. But I think ultimately it will be consistent with the Magician and the Ten of Pentacles. You know, don't stop holding your boundaries. Don't stop expressing yourself as you need to, because that's you being you. So just be you. But eventually I think it will turn into something more expansive and more stable and grounded. I think that they really want to ground things. And bring in that consistency. We got 4, 4, 4. 4 is a number of stability. 4 is the number where you bring things from an idea into fruition. You bring them to the earth, to the physical plane. Okay? So both of you wanted this? All right. You know, but it takes people showing up authentically. And I think that that's what's happening here. 2 people showing up authentically who want the same thing, who like each other genuinely as people, and are willing to work towards that. And it's beautiful. And again, they're showing up with like some emotional openness, but like I think it's probably something that's hard for them. And so whether you want to have that patience or not, that's up to you. But like patience with them opening up, but like they're trying, and I think that's worth acknowledging. So I'm gonna get some advice for you with my Rider-Waite deck. Two of Wands. The Emperor. Queen of Wands. Two of Swords. Three of Swords. Bottom of the deck is Judgment. Under that is the Four of Swords and the Queen of Cups. Okay, so for advice, I think you need to be open to see how things go. This is giving me big we'll see energy. Be open, okay? That's the main thing though. Be open to seeing what happens, you know, to seeing the possibilities, to seeing what could happen. Because like the thing is you can't get what you want unless you are open, you know, unless you give something a chance. You have to give it a chance, you know. And the Three of Swords here, I wouldn't be worried about it, but understand that in love, regardless of how much you like the person, love always ends in grief. You know, either you stay together and someone eventually dies, because that's life, people die, and then you grieve that, or you stay together, you have a connection, you break up, and then you grieve the relationship. So either way, there is some type of pain, you know. And so understand that moving forward, like you can't really avoid pain in love, or like in you can't really avoid like things ending eventually in some way, shape, or form, whether that is willingly or like through natural causes or whatever, or through death, or I don't know, it just depends. So like understand that is something you have to deal with, you know, but don't let knowing that keep you from something that can make you happy, you know. And also with the Emperor, the Queen of Wands, and we have some very strong personalities here. I was saying earlier, I feel like there's probably some Leos here. There's a lot of fire energy, probably some Aries, Sag. There's just some real fiery energy here. And so we have some really strong personalities, okay? And so with that, you have to be prepared to make decisions and say things that, I'm not saying be mean, don't be mean, but make decisions and say things that may not be like, it might be hard. You might have to like have some tough conversations with people. Maybe with this person, you might have to have a tough conversation and be like, hey, look, like I know you say these are your intentions now, but this is how you showed up before, and I just I'm a little apprehensive or I'm a little hesitant because of how I've seen things before, and so I have these feelings about that, you know? And not like expressing that in a way of blaming someone, but in a way of like being vulnerable and being open and honest about like, this is what I'm afraid of, this is what I'm worried about, like I just want to let you know that these are my concerns, you know? Allow yourself to be vulnerable without like, I don't know, yelling at someone or being in their face, because you can do that. It's possible, you know? And also understand that you have control over the situation here, okay? Like, being vulnerable does not mean getting your power stripped away. That's not what that means. Being vulnerable just means that, like, there is power in vulnerability. And, like, in being vulnerable, you are expressing and showing yourself, like, your true self. You are really showing that. And then through that, you, like, let yourself get closer to others and, like, experience emotional intimacy. And that's what that is necessary to build like, the kind of relationship that you're looking for. You know, and so like, be careful, just make sure that you are ready for that. And that, because it feels like you've been manifesting this kind of connection, this like long-term connected connection, long-term intimate, like real relationship. But just be prepared to have those tough conversations and have to have those intimate moments in order to build that closeness and in order to build that relationship so that it lasts. You know, don't shy away from it. Now I'm going to pull some Soul's Journey cards. Gratitude. I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. Worry. I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. Purpose. I know what I am here to do. At the bottom of the deck we have love. I commit to the practice of seeing good in all things. You have a lot of purple here. I think you maybe need to meditate and work on your crown chakra a little bit more. Work on opening that up and getting guidance. Because I think there may be more messages for you than you realize. And so it's important for you to like take that time, meditate, sit down, sit with yourself, open your mind, see what they have to say to you. Okay. Be grateful for the experiences that you've been through and the opportunities. Like, this is happening, and it kind of feels like them coming through the first time was an opportunity for you to show what you have learned, and them coming through the second time is to fulfill the manifestation you've been trying to bring in. Okay, so one, be grateful for the lesson you learned before in standing up and like, not in standing up for yourself, but in not accepting what's less than we're worth. And now be grateful for this person coming in trying really hard to show you what that it is worth building something long term with them. Okay, and understand that the Two of Swords, Three of Swords, and worry here, there's no need, you sitting and worrying about the outcome, sitting and worrying about how things are going to turn out, that doesn't help anything. You need to live in the moment and live in the moment. Be present in these moments. You can't build intimacy. You can't build connection if you are spending all your time worrying about what could happen, because then you're acting out of fear rather than out of authenticity and honesty. Authenticity and honesty. And the thing is, you are going into this with intention. You know what you want, the purpose here. And so you act with intention. Don't doubt yourself. Do what you need to do. Do what's true to you. You know. Try not to like overly nitpick, because I feel like this person is trying really hard. Honestly, I think they're really trying. And sometimes trying isn't good enough, but I think give it a chance. Just give it a chance. Don't be negative. Don't overthink it. Just give it a chance and enjoy what happens. Just let yourself go on the journey. You know. And we'll get some heart thought cards. My love is limitless. The more love I allow to flow out from me, the more there is within me, and the more I receive. I am free to say no if something is not the best for me. I use the power of my mind and my free will to know what I do is right. I trust myself. I am in harmony with nature. I am in harmony with all of life, the sun, the moon, the winds, the rain, the earth. And so everything that's happening is happening for a reason with this card here. And also understand that just be open, you know, be open to letting yourself be happy, be open to letting yourself experience this, because that is showing love to yourself. But also understand that like you are still like even through vulnerability, you are still able to maintain your personal power, and trust yourself, and trust that you will not let yourself stay in situations that are not good for you and that do not serve you and that are causing you more harm than good. Okay? And so understand that if things end up not going where you want them to, you can always stop or change things or do something differently. You know, like you don't have to stay in relationships that aren't working for you. You know, and like you can try to fix them, or you can like set boundaries and things, but if that's not working, then you don't have to stay. You know, understand that you aren't stuck in these situations, and use that lesson from before of not accepting less than what you're worth, and use that moving forward into this connection that's coming towards you. Okay, and understand that everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. Okay, have some faith in yourself, have some faith in this person, have some faith in the situation and in the universe. Okay, have faith, have hope, move forward. But thank you for listening to this reading. I hope it resonated. Let me know if it resonated. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. There's no pressure here. Do what feels right for you. Okay, thank you.